comparing the Himachal and Gujarat outcomes offers an insight into the strengths and limitations of the Modi factor. Let's look at the similarities first in both the states. The PM campaigned heavily, doing 4 rallies in Himachal, a large number for that tiny state, and a whopping 27 rallies in Gujarat, in addition to at least 2 massive road shows, like the massive 3-hour-long road show he held in Ahmedabad in the closing days of the campaign. In both states, the PM made highly personal appeals to voters, asking them to vote for him above party or candidate lines, like this famous quote from Himachal.
मैं आपके पास कमल का फूल लेकर आया हूं. अगर आपको कमल का फूल जब वोट डालने जाए दिखाई दे, समझ लीजिए कि ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी है, ये मोदी जी आपके पास आए हैं. आपका एक एक कमल के फूल पर जो वोट पड़ेगा, वो सीधा मोदी के खाते में आशीर्वाद के रूप में आएगा.
Now, this big pitch by the Prime Minister was of course backed up by the carpet bombing of other top BJP leaders in both states, from Amit Shah to Yogi Adityanath, as well as the full weight of the BJP's formidable election machine that ladders down to the grassroots, to the level of the booths, the BJP's famed Panna Pramukhs. In both states, the BJP was hoping that the Modi factor would help overcome the lightweight political leadership, which is another hallmark of the Modi-Shah era of so-called accidental chief ministers who are installed by the High Command. In Gujarat, Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, who, when he was appointed just a year before the elections. In Himachal, the BJP opted for the lesser-known Jairam Thakur as Chief Minister over veteran P.K. Dhumal after Dhumal lost his seat in the last election. Both were seen as quote-unquote accidental chief ministers appointed centrally. Mr. Patel was simply a one-time MLA and a builder by profession when he was made CM, the latest in a chain of revolving door CMs installed by the BJP brass in Gujarat since the Prime Minister moved to New Delhi. Mr. Thakur too was appointed largely because he is considered close to BJP President JP Nadda. The Modi effect was also meant to counter an average to middling performance by both state governments. In Gujarat, the BJP was banking on the PM to fight off the lingering aftershocks of the mishandling of the COVID second wave, which in part contributed to the removal of Vijay Rupani as Chief Minister, as well as battling emerging distress over joblessness, price rise and so on. Listen to these voices we recorded at a Arvind Kejriwal rally in Mehsana in North Gujarat in October in the run-up to the elections.
आप आम आदमी पार्टी के साथ हैं? क्यों?
महंगाई बहुत है,
महंगाई ज्यादा है।
गरीब लोग कैसे अपना हिसाब से पूरा करें, भरण पोषण करें?
अच्छा, तो
गैस का भाव बढ़ गया, सबका भाव बढ़ गया, तो हम किसमें
लाइट बिल का भाव,
इसमें तो तेल का भाव पड़ेगा,
तेल का भाव,
अब पब्लिक गरीब खाए, गरीब खावानु क्यों?
इससे पहले किसको वोट डालते थे?
पहले भाजपा को डालते थे हम। ऐसा बोला कि हम करके देखे, लेकिन कुछ भी नहीं किया।
Meanwhile, in Himachal, the BJP was hoping that the Prime Minister's blitz would help them battle a backlash to the removal of the old pension scheme, unrest amongst apple growers, and anger against the new Agnipath model of part-timed armed forces recruitment. Listen to these voices from a campaign trail report from my colleague Saurabh Shukla earlier on.
ऐसा हो गया 2-3 साल से हमारी जो प्रोटेक्शन की कॉस्ट है वो ऑलमोस्ट डबल हो गई है. हमारी और कोई ध्यान ही नहीं दिया है बीजेपी सरकार ने जब से जयराम जी बने हैं. जब धूमल जी थे तब काफी होता था.
इतना ज्यादा फायदा हमें कुछ इस सरकार से मिला नहीं है. जो प्रोमिसेस किए थे वो भी पूरे नहीं हुए हैं.
वो कह रहे हैं कि कमल के फूल पर मोहर लगाएं, मगर एक कर्मचारी ने एक रिटायर भी होना है और उसके बाद उसको उसकी पेंशन ने अगर नहीं है, अगर वो घर का रोजी रोटी ही नहीं चलेगी तो उसे उसका फूल कोई कर नहीं पाएगा उसको कुछ. तो उसको अपने आत्मसम्मान के लिए एक बार वोट जो है अपने पेंशन के लिए देना पड़ेगा.
नेताओं के लिए अलग अलग पेंशन है और कर्मचारियों की पेंशन छीनी जा रही है. तो हमारी तो मांग यही रहेगी कि एक देश, एक संविधान, एक विधान. तो फिर कर्मचारियों के लिए पेंशन के 2 प्रावधान क्यों?
In both the states, the BJP was also hoping that the Prime Minister factor would counter the rebel impact after the BJP, with trademark ruthlessness, dropped a large chunk of sitting MLAs. In Gujarat, the BJP had to suspend around 19 rebels In Himachal too, the party had to contend with a significant rebellion after it suspended 7 rebels, one of whom was filmed receiving a call from the Prime Minister himself, asking the rebel to stand down.
मोदी जी, मैंने नड्डा जी ने मेरे को इतना जलील किया 15 साल जी। बहुत रोल है जी। नहीं, कम नहीं है जी, मेरे लिए तो भगवान का देश है।
But in the end, as we know, despite these similarities, the outcomes played out differently. The BJP losing Himachal Pradesh, but winning Gujarat by a landslide. In Himachal, a small number of rebels ended up winning. Several more appear to have dented the party's performance, while in Gujarat, the rebellion had no significant impact. Neither did all the other factors of a lightweight chief minister, voices of economic distress, and so on. So why did the Modi factor work in Gujarat and not Himachal Pradesh? To be clear, for all the commonalities, there is a difference that gives the BJP a distinct advantage in Gujarat, which tells us something about what works and what doesn't. Starting with the obvious, the emotive connect that voters in Gujarat have with the Prime Minister from their home state, a connect the Prime Minister has done much to foster over his three-term tenure as CM, a connect that might be absent in other states like Himachal. 2, and this goes beyond the PM factor, Gujarat's social and political history has made it a more fertile soil for communally charged political messaging of the kind that benefits the BJP, messaging that is unlikely to get much traction in Himachal, with a near insignificant 2% Muslim population, a state that has been largely averse or indifferent to sectarian politics. Number 3, in Gujarat, the main opposition party, the Congress, has been in a state of continuous decline bordering on collapse for close to 3 decades, culminating in the Congress walkover in this election, what the Congress now calls a silent campaign. Unlike in Himachal, where the Congress was in power as recently as 5 years ago and appears to have put up a semblance of a better campaign. And finally, in Gujarat, the BJP seems to have benefited from a divided opposition courtesy the Aam Aadmi Party. While the AAP made a play in both states, they seem to withdraw from the Himachal campaign, expending more energy in Gujarat. So there was no vote division there. So what does all this tell us about the strengths and limitations of the Modi factor? That when the Prime Minister is able to make an emotive connect and is helped by a weak or divided opposition, bolstered by an electorate receptive to Hindutva signalling, the Modi effect can take the BJP over the line despite a middling performance by the state government as with Gujarat. But in the absence of some or all of those factors, the Prime Minister factor may not always be successful as with Himachal.